Do you know much about King Henry II? About his family's dynasty? Did the history of the Plantagenets inspire the popular series Game of Thrones? This analysis of the Plantagenet dynasty, focusing on its founder, Henry II, delves into the historical context, the complex personalities involved, and the administrative innovations that defined this period. Furthermore, we will explore the historiographical debate surrounding this era, examining the various schools of thought that have developed over time. The rise of Henry II. The foundation of the Plantagenet dynasty was laid by Henry II, a formidable warrior and astute empire builder who ascended to the throne amidst a backdrop of conflict and disorder. In 1153, at the age of 20, Henry Plantagenet sailed to England with a clear objective: to reclaim the crown he believed was rightfully his. His claim was underpinned by a lineage of combat and governance, nurtured by his formidable mother, Matilda. Henry's early years were marked by relentless warfare in France, instilling in him a sense of military prowess and unyielding ambition. His fiery temper and boundless energy defined his approach to leadership. Within a year of his arrival, King Stephen was dead, and Henry was crowned Henry II, the first Plantagenet king of England. Consolidation of power. Henry II's reign signaled a transformative era for England. Despite not speaking English, a language then relegated to the peasantry, Henry was determined to bring order to a land ravaged by baronial conflicts. For over 2 decades, English barons had engaged in brutal turf wars, leaving devastation in their wake. Homes were burned, crops destroyed, and lives lost in a cycle of violence. Henry's challenge was to subdue these powerful barons without resorting to outright destruction. His strategic genius lay in his ability to balance force with diplomacy. At Wigmore Castle, the stronghold of Hugh Mortimer, one of the last barons resisting his rule, Henry laid siege. Rather than annihilating Mortimer, Henry demonstrated a remarkable act of clemency. He stripped Mortimer of his castle, only to return it, asserting his control and establishing a precedent. Power was granted by the king's grace alone. The role of Eleanor of Aquitaine. Henry's confidence in dealing with powerful men was bolstered by his alliance with Eleanor of Aquitaine, his queen, and a formidable political force in her own right. Eleanor, 10 years his senior, was renowned for her beauty and intellect. Her previous marriage to Louis VII of France and subsequent annulment had shocked Europe. Marrying Henry just 2 months later, she brought not only her considerable lands but also her political acumen to the Plantagenet cause. Eleanor and Henry's union created a sprawling empire stretching from the borders of Scotland to the Pyrenees. While Henry provided the military might, Eleanor contributed prestige and political legitimacy. Together, they were an indomitable force. Administrative innovations. To maintain control over such vast territories, Henry II implemented radical administrative reforms. He established a new class of officials, clerks, drawn from educated commoners rather than the traditional baronial class. These clerks, bound by loyalty to the king, formed the backbone of a burgeoning civil service that laid the foundations for modern governance. Documents from the National Archives reveal the extent of Henry's administrative reach. Writs from his reign demonstrate his meticulous interest in every aspect of his kingdom. Henry's financial reforms, including the restructuring of royal finances through the Exchequer, and the deployment of itinerant justices to enforce law and order, underscored his obsession with centralized control. The Thomas Becket controversy. Henry's relationship with Thomas Becket, his chancellor, and later Archbishop of Canterbury, epitomizes the volatile intersection of politics and religion in medieval England. Becket, a commoner of remarkable talent, initially served as Henry's loyal chancellor, strengthening the king's grip on the realm. Their friendship was characterized by shared pursuits and mutual respect. However, Henry's decision to appoint Becket as Archbishop of Canterbury in 1162 proved to be a miscalculation. Becket's transformation from loyal chancellor to devout churchman strained their relationship. Becket's newfound piety led him to resist Henry's attempts to bring the church under royal control, culminating in a bitter conflict. The crisis of Thomas Becket. In 1170, Becket's excommunication of bishops who had supported Henry's coronation of his son, the young king, was a direct challenge to the king's authority. Henry's infamous outburst, allegedly questioning why no one would rid him of this troublesome priest, led to Becket's murder by 4 of the king's knights in Canterbury Cathedral. The event sent shockwaves through Christendom, casting a shadow over Henry's reign and precipitating a crisis of legitimacy. The rebellion of Henry's sons. The aftermath of Becket's murder coincided with a rebellion led by Henry's own sons, spurred by discontent and manipulated by external rivals like Louis VII of France. The rebellion was a complex web of familial betrayal, political ambition, and foreign intrigue. Henry's eldest son, Henry the young king, embittered by his lack of real power and resources, allied with his brothers Richard and Geoffrey, and their mother Eleanor. Their rebellion aimed to dismantle Henry's control, leveraging the support of disaffected English barons and foreign adversaries. The capture of Eleanor and the collapse of rebellion. Eleanor's attempt to join her sons in Paris ended in her capture and imprisonment, a stark symbol of the fractured Plantagenet family. Despite initial successes, the rebellion faltered. Henry's strategic acumen and ability to marshal resources ultimately prevailed. The capture of the King of Scotland, who had invaded England in support of the rebels, marked a turning point. Henry's act of penance. In 1174, Henry performed an extraordinary act of penance at Canterbury Cathedral, walking barefoot through the streets and submitting to a public flogging by the clergy. This dramatic gesture of contrition aimed to atone for Becket's murder and restore his damaged reputation. Remarkably, news of his penance coincided with the capture of the King of Scotland, reinforcing the perception of divine favor and undermining the rebellion. The aftermath and legacy. The rebellion's collapse reinforced Henry's control, but at a significant personal and political cost. Eleanor remained imprisoned for the remainder of Henry's reign, and the king's relationships with his sons were irrevocably damaged. Henry's efforts to secure his legacy through his sons ultimately sowed the seeds of future conflicts within the Plantagenet dynasty. Historical references and schools of thought. The analysis of Henry II and the Plantagenet dynasty's rise draws on numerous historical sources and interpretations. Primary sources, such as the writs and administrative records preserved in the National Archives, provide invaluable insights into Henry's governance and reforms. Chronicles by contemporary writers like William of Newburgh and Roger of Hoveden offer detailed accounts of events, though their narratives must be critically examined for bias and context. Historiographically, the Plantagenet era has been subject to varying interpretations. The traditional view, often referred to as the Whiggish perspective, presents Henry II as a reformer and modernizer who laid the groundwork for the English common law and centralized government. This school of thought highlights Henry's administrative genius and his role in curbing baronial power, emphasizing a progressive evolution towards a more structured and efficient state. Conversely, revisionist historians have challenged this perspective, arguing that Henry's reign was marked by coercion and ruthless consolidation of power at the expense of established norms and traditions. This view posits that Henry's reforms were primarily driven by his need to assert dominance and secure his dynasty's future, rather than a visionary attempt to modernize governance. The conflict with Thomas Becket has also been the subject of extensive debate. Traditional narratives often portray Becket as a martyr defending the Church's autonomy against royal encroachment, casting Henry as a tyrannical ruler overreaching his authority. However, some modern historians argue that Becket's actions were politically motivated and that his conflict with Henry was as much about personal ambition as it was about ecclesiastical principle. The Plantagenet dynasty's formative years under Henry II were characterized by significant achievements and profound challenges. Henry's consolidation of power, administrative innovations, and strategic alliances transformed England into a dominant European force. However, the personal and political turmoil, exemplified by the conflict with Thomas Becket and the rebellion of his sons, revealed the intrinsic vulnerabilities of a dynasty driven by relentless ambition and authority. Henry II's legacy is complex, a blend of revolutionary governance and ruthless control. His establishment of a new administrative class and his financial reforms left an indelible mark on English governance, laying the groundwork for future centralized rule. However, his personal failings and the fractures within his family set the stage for ongoing conflicts that would plague the Plantagenet line. The enduring impact of the Plantagenet dynasty on English history is profound. Through meticulous analysis of historical records and critical engagement with various historiographical perspectives, we gain a nuanced understanding of this pivotal era. The Plantagenet story is a testament to the turbulent and transformative nature of medieval history, where the relentless pursuit of power often came at a great personal and moral cost. By examining the intricate tapestry of their reign, we can appreciate the complexities and legacies of a dynasty that profoundly shaped the course of English history. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Medieval Chronicles 1066. See you next time.